Howdy everyone, my name is Notepad Anon, and I write games for fun. So, I wasn't on yesterday, because yesterday was a shit show, but generally speaking it was alright, and I also passed out, because I got very tired all of a sudden. So, what are we doing today? We are going to be working on Project Tactics yet again now. Give me 1 second as I reduce the sound here a little bit. So, if we look at what we've done, I actually haven't done that much. I've gotten the basics done. However, I have, if we go back to our handy dandy document here, our prelim document, I've got our 6 classes set up based on pretty much 2 for each category. Fighter, Magician, Rogues, 2 for Fighters, 2 for Mages, and 2 for Rogues. Effectively speaking, the Warriors are going to be dealing mostly with your infantry and your your kind of frontline fighter people. A lot of their abilities are going to focus around improving them. They're just being good fighters in general. And the Warlord's going to be a little bit more focused on improving himself, while the Knight's a little bit more focused on improving his soldiers. So it's kind of that there's a little bit of dichotomy there of how you want to handle it. So, but a Knight Warlord and Warlord Knight, completely valid. So a Magus is kind of your, I would say basic, but you're a kind of basic explosion wizard who is insanely powerful, but is very squishy overall. That also goes for your bishop, who's a lot more healer focused, with their units kind of getting spec'd down either a more of a ranged boom boom everything must die route, or a more balanced approach. While the rogues, on the other hand, they're the tricky ones. The knave, as well as his rogues, do a lot of damage, a lot of tactics damage, and a lot of their benefits derive from harassing, you could say, enemies very easily. While the hunters, poachers are probably one of the better range units you can get actively, and they're also the first one that is actively a range unit, so you don't have to spec into something. So that's kind of the push and pull there. The Knights get a lot, the Fighters get a lot of direct abilities. The Mages obviously get spells and such that they can use, and the Rogues kind of get a hybridized version of both. They get the combat potential of the Fighters, but kind of the more tricksy elements of the Magicians. I might add additional classes going on, but these are going to be our basics going forward. I think this will be a good kind of baseline for everything. And I did go for the 1d10 solution. As you see here, I have my preface, kind of that weird warband size, and the DNA of the game being inherently magical, so kind of have to put magic that's from Boyar Lord. And then we have playing the game. All the notes you need there. That's some Kenshi fan art from a Korean individual. Which, if I've learned anything, Koreans love Kenshi. Like, absolutely adore that game. It still kind of mystifies me. Like, you wouldn't think that it would be that popular in that sphere, because it's kind of aping the day, and what do I know? So I've got the basics done for character and squad creation. Pretty much telling what the difference is between a captain and a troops. Kind of troops are your basic soldiers, and your captain's kind of your character, the player character itself. And our 5 key attributes. And of course, we're going to be using alphabetical order, so we're going to be doing with attunement, dexterity, strength, tactics, toughness. And now we get to do, I'm going to adopt my usual method of doing this. And I'm going to post it right here. Go away, Han Solo. But it's going to be attunement, ATT, actually ATU. The character's connection to the magical realms, and their ability to influence the manosphere of the world. The A character with high attunement is a force of personality and nature, often eccentric and larger than life. A character with low attunement is unassuming and oftentimes unskilled in the art of magic. So effectively, attunement is my cop-out for a charisma stat. You are, if you have a high attunement score, that effectively means that you are someone who kind of gets people a little bit more, in addition to being able to do a little bit better at the whole magic thing. So, am I saying, oh, all magicians are these charismatic forces of nature? Yeah, because they're the kind of people who can walk into a king's court, fling their hands forward, light up the fire, and say, give me money so I can burn down the town, nearby city, because I'm a psychopath. It's like, this man makes sense. I want to listen to him, because he obviously is a force of nature and probably can burn my house down. But again, as I say, they're kind of eccentric. Attunement, having high attunement, it's kind of like meeting someone who has a lot of personality, kind of the more affectionate way of putting it, but who's very intense and very in there, and you know them, and they're the kind of people who walk into a party and you automatically see them just right away. You're like, oh, I know you. I don't know why I know you, but I know you. You're horrifying. You scare me. You give me a spook. Because you're just there. You're this overwhelming presence. That's attunement. So, social ability to influence social situations. Magical ability and skill at manipulating it. Add it. It's manipulation. Understanding of the magical arts and symbolism. Ring-a-ding-ding-ding. Hello. How are you? How are you, Mr. Phone? What do you need? No. Twitch. I don't need to manage my stream from my phone. Symbolism. Yep. Magical arts and symbolism. Dexterity. Let's do dex. There's natural coordination, speed, and ability to quickly and easily traverse situations. A character with high dexterity is quick on their feet and quicker on the draw. A character with low dexterity has 2 left feet, slow on uptake, and sometimes is a bit clumsy. Each attribute is ranked from -5 to 5, with -5 being absolutely terrible, and 5 being peak performant. Actually, we'll do 10. With -5 to 10, and 10 being peak human performance. And I was listening to Rimworld soundtrack because I felt like listening to reaction speed in combat. Ranged ability. Archery ability and skill with a bow. Foot speed over traditional. Foot. Actually, let's use foot speed. Okay, we're gonna go. No, didn't mean to do that. Control B, strength. This is actually the one song in RimWorld actually that I really enjoy, because this actually plays at the very end. If you're not a complete fuck up like I usually am and get everyone killed in horrific and gradually more terrible fashions, it's not my fault half my colonists run out in front of my gun line. It's their fault. Actually, I need to check something real fast. Who are you? Tell me who you are. Yeah, I got some random followers the other day. I'm like, ah, who are you? Why are you here? I'm not exactly the one producing expert, not top tier content here. I am literally just talking to myself as I dev games, because deving games is fun. Strength. Actually, remember, kids, always steal. Stealing things is a completely valid tactic. If you're hesitant, like, oh, I don't know if I should steal something from one of my previous games, do so. Always do so. You wrote it, you know it's good, so you may as well just use it again. If you're kind of going under the same... Actually, physical and strength of arms. Character with high strength. Physically fit and is muscular, and able to deliver crushing blows with ease. Character with low strength. Character with low strength relies on their quick wits, quick legs, or sheer determination to hurt another individual, as their muscles do not. Skill with melee weapon. Ability to lift and carry equipment. Muscular definition. Individualism system. Muscular feats. So effectively, my usual difference between strength and toughness usually results in toughness is your strength is your ability to run distance. Actually, no. Strength is your ability to run sprints. Fitness is your ability to. Toughness is your ability to run marathons. Dexterity is your ability to vault over the nearest corridor, so you don't actually have to run those things. Dexterity is your raw speed. Strength is your kind of your more muscle, and kind of how strong you are. While toughness is just how tough you are. It's your general ability to say, "No, I am big man, me, scary tactics." Attack. I don't know why it's doing this all of a sudden. Skill at guiding others in the heat of battle. And a character with high tactics is a well-read individual versed in the arts of war. Victory. A character with low tactics is one who relies solely on simple strategies and simple strategies and brute force to win the day. So effectively, my core thing is like, if your main thing is attunement, you're kind of more you're the magician. You're also kind of the face of the party in non-situations. People won't like your tactics are insane most of the time, but this is kind of your showmanship, effectively. This is your brute force personality to really inspire the people to do what you want. But actually, when you like listen to him, he's like, oh, that's bullshit. So a politician would have high attunement. It's like, I'm listening to you, but you're also kind of insane. Dexterity is your speed. Someone with really high dexterity is going to be the person who's quick on the draw and is going to be able to lead his troops who are more archers into actually aiming correctly. Someone with high strength is just a big old warrior with a sword in one hand, a shield in the other, rushing at the enemy, going unga bunga, willing to smash someone to pieces. Someone with high tactics, he's the one sitting back. He's the one moving the chess pieces in his head. And he's the one who's going to be exploiting the tactics system. I don't quite know how I want to do it. I might call them strategies or tactics or various other fancy words. Ring a ding ding ding, how are you? Alright, everyone, give me a moment. I have a phone call. Howdy, I'm alive and back. That was people needing things from me. The notepad add-on. Oh, we were back at tactics. Someone else was trying to brute force during the day. Oh, Jesus. I don't know why this is messing up. Scholarly education, as well as hands-on experience. Advanced tactical forethought. An ability in the field. That would be another good third. The ability to guide troops to victory. And finally, we have toughness. TGH usually is a good one. Now you may be wondering, like, why I always put this kind of in the abbreviation. I do that for when you're typing things out. If you had to type toughness 5 times in a row, being this, like, okay, times to toughness times the, it's easier to just put TGH or TAC or just STR. It's easier to put that. It's kind of just a easier way for people to understand, like, oh, this is my strength, or hey, this is tactics, oh, this is toughness. This is a nice abbreviation because fun fact, people are lazy, and that's how they will write it on their sheet. It's TGH plus 2. That's how they'll write it, because people are that way. That's how people do. I also just stubbed my toe on my little thing under my desk, and I'm in extreme pain. Please kill me. Ability to withstand pain. Actually, the character's pain tolerance as well as overall physical health. A character with high toughness can take a nasty blow and get right back up. A character with low toughness struggles to recover if they are struck by a dangerous blow. So we're struck by a blow. Overall, control shift A, character's physical health and well-being. Character's ability to withstand pain and punishment. The character actually overall skill at surviving tough environments and pushing through obstacles. Then we got all our attributes. So what are we going to have to work on next? So I'm going to essentially put this 0 to 10 because nothing's really going to have a negative. Or should I put? No. Actually, I'm going to put the negative. I'm going to put the negative for things like undead, for example. Undead don't have any attunement. They would have a negative attunement score. Like anything like, oh, we have to counter them with attunement. They don't have any. Or a skeleton or a like orcs may have like really low tactics, like negative tactics. Because orcs don't really rely on tactics. They rely on running up to you and smashing your fucking face in. Because you know, it's kind of that one of those things of like, yeah, you get a bunch of orcs together, inevitably your tactics immediately start devolving in value. Like they're not actually tactics at that point. So the captain has starting an attribute points to divide among their statistic, to divide among their attributes. Yep, alright, there we are. I could probably make these heading 3s. How would that look, actually? Can I fit everything in here if they're heading 3s? Yeah, I probably can. I don't know why you're bold for some reason. And also let me save a little space by hitting backspace on these. Da-da-da, boom-bayada, bing, bada. I'm into saying words now. Not even intelligent words, just words. Alright, now we get to 2. Clap those captain classes. And we're going to do heading 2. So, captain classes. Each captain has a combination of 2 classes to highlight their skills and abilities in the field of battle. These classes form the basis of the captain in the on and off, on and on. Actually, find the captain in micro and macro combat. In combat, as well as the troops they have available to them to recruit. So we go back to our section here. So we have the knight. The knight is a shining example of chivalric intentions and armored warfare in the field. They are skilled fighters and oftentimes leaders of men, leaders of soldiers themselves. So, outside giving you what that should they... Okay, I'm actually going to give... I'm going to steal another section from Table Talk. There we go, skills. Post this right here. I'm soldiers leaders themselves. As a knight, your focus is primarily on the field of battle and waging war against your foes. See, let's turn on our calming music. So we're going to give them the skills. Of athletics and would be a good one. Athletics and endurance. Yeah, endurance is probably athletics and endurance. The starting unit, infantry. At 2-0, Dex 1, Strength 2, Attack 1, Tough 1. So that's a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 orcs. So we can just make it 4. No Dex. They're infantry units. They're not supposed to be good. Available to them to recruit. Captain. Each captain class has actually a skill. So I'm going to take, for knight, I'm going to put endurance for skill. Has a skill as well. Has a skill as well that reflects their ability in the field. And then we're going to then we put a skills section right here. And this is going to be heading 2, so that means we're going to have to make that heading 3. Okay, will skill they roll an additional 1d10. Additional d10. 10, taking the highest. Rolling both of their d10s and taking the highest. In the field in which the character chooses specialization inside of the skill, if there's a situation with 2 skills can interact, and the character would add 2 additional d10s and take the highest of the bunch. And then we have all our various ones, academics. Actually going to do and that brings us down to the knight. And we'll just use that as our basic. Powerful figure leading from the front of their soldiers to inspire and bring wrathful carnage on the heads of their enemies. Warlord. This is skilled fighter, specializing in offensive maneuvers, tactics on the field, on the field of battle, boy. Specializing in offensive maneuver tactics on the field. And there's going to have their skills going to be athletics, and their starting unit is going to be a fighter, attitude 0, dex 1, strength 2, attack 0, tough 1. Now, these are not final. I'm just putting them on here just so they are on paper, effectively. Google. Because if they're on something, you can build off of it. Schools, we already have, okay, we have our basic infantry, we have our fighters, and you see they're already kind of different. You know, the warlord ones, you know, they have a little bit more dex, they're a little bit more agile, their strength's a little higher. You know, but they're not as tactical, and they're about, again, they're roughly equal to the knights units, but again, fighters upgrade differently than infantry. Infantry are going to go down the, effectively there's going to be the more mounted route, and there's going to be the more sergeant route. So your mounted route is going to be obviously with mounted horsemen and soldiers like that. Alternatively, the kind of the more heavily armored guardian route is going to be a lot more heavily armored, a lot tougher, a lot stronger on the field, with kind of sacrificing some of their overall damage in exchange for being able to survive bigger abilities. Warlords, on the other hand, the fighters are going to go down the more gladiator route, which is big damage, big dex. They're moving around really fast, they're doing a lot of damage, or they're going to go down more of the berserker route, which is all about doing real high damage and taking a lot of damage. So they're kind of, the warlord's gimmick is big damage. You're sacrificing your tactical ability with the warlord in exchange for having the kind of offensive capability, while the knight's more about using his tactics to augment his troops to be better in some ways. And that brings me to, what's our next class that we'll use? And we will use the Magus. Magus is an individual who has trained ceaselessly in the arts. So magic and the arcane. They are magically powerful and can augment their troops to their full devastating effects with powerful spells and abilities. Skill. That'd be a good skill for them. Their skill is probably going to be knowledge, magic, starting unit, acolyte, at 2, dex 0, rank 0, tech 2, attack 2, and toughness 0. And we'll post the Magus right here. Magus. Magicantus. Good old-fashioned Grand Realm references in this house. Bishop. Individual of the cloth. Actually, what did I end up calling them? Not was it acolytes? Neophytes. Neophyte. Individual of the cloth. The bishop is a holy individual able to guide and inspire their soldiers to great heights by inspiring words, fiery rhetoric, and blessings from on high. Skill. Medicine. Starting unit. Acolyte. At 2-1. I said at 2, not at. ATT. At 2-1. Dex 0. Strength 1. Attack 0. Toughness 1. I'm gonna bump their at 2. I'm gonna actually bump their toughness up by 2 to 2. Actually, no. At 2 is gonna be 2. From on high, bring their troops to the front of battle. So the acolyte units are going to go down kind of probably the most radical of the two separate paths I have planned for them. With one being like, oh, we're, priests, healers, and stuff like that. Where their entire gimmick is that you have a passive, patching your guys up. They're not going to do much damage in the long run, but the idea is that they're patching your people up. They're making it so you're healthier. On the other hand, you have the war route, which you get things like war priests, flagellants, and they're big damage who can just ignore damage. That's their kind of, a bishop's scary because he can use his troops to really good effect. Their only problem is that they are not too tough, and you're not strong or not very tactical in the long run. You really need to pair it with something like a Bishop Magus works really well, or Warlord Bishops, if you kind of want to go the kind of more offensive route and upgrade tactics a different way. And that brings us to the Knave. Shadowy streets, two glittering halls. The knave is a scoundrel fiend and all-around scumbag who specializes in abusing other soldiers and maximizing the effect of his own using dirty tactical maneuvers. skill, larceny. Starting unit, rogue, attitude 0, dex 2, strength 1, strength 1, attack 1, toughness 0. That brings me to hunter. Actually, did I change to ranger? I'm going to change to ranger. I think that's a little bit more appropriate. Ranger. Stalking through the wooded old world. The ranger is an individual skilled at taking down foes from a distance and making sure that his soldiers specialize in dangerous maneuvers to successfully maneuvers and ambushes to wreak havoc on enemy lines. On the enemy. Skill outdoorsmanship. Starting unit. Poacher. Attitude 0. Dex 2. Strength 2. Attack 0. Tough 1. What I may do, this is going to be kind of a preliminary note. Preliminary is that each class starts with 3 tactics they can select from, 3 starter tactics. Actually, I can actually call them maneuvers with this one. 3 starter maneuvers. Like, let's start with the knight. So the knight, for example, has shield wall, increase tough, double toughness of the squad for the round. Let's see what some other good. Okay, now I'm gonna give him a starting maneuver. Starting maneuver. Shield wall. And what would be a good warlord? Oh, yeah. Wild charge. Warlord moves. So, warlord. Actually, the warlord issues a charge and deals plus. Let's see. The warlord's charges do add a +2 to the attack roll. Yep, that's his starting maneuver. Starting maneuver. Bolt of energy. The Magus shoots out a bolt of energy. The Magus squad. His squad shoots out a bolt of wild energy at an opponent. At an opponent. Using @2 versus @2 to deal damage to them. Recharge 2. To deal @2 plus 1d10 damage to them. Opponent's squad. Starting maneuver. Benediction. Actually, what is benediction? Benediction of the masses. Bishop calls for a prayer on the battlefield. The squad gains +2 to squad regains +1d10 health. And regains 1d10 health among all members. Okay. So effectively speaking, what I envision pretty much a maneuver to be. So let's say I'm going to do a maneuver. My base maneuver is going to have pretty much a target number that needs to be hit for it to pretty much pull off more complicated maneuvers versus either passive maneuvers. Pretty much there's going to be 3 types of maneuvers. There's going to be active maneuvers, which require a tactics roll. Passive maneuvers, no tactics roll, and augmentive. Augmentive maneuvers, no tactics roll, augments actions, and actually spell maneuvers. @2 roll. Attunement roll. So effectively, your bigger active maneuvers are going to be. So what I should actually do is like shield wall. Yeah. actually shield wall. We're going to call this attack. So it's going to be attack 3. Actually, it's going to be attack 8 ability. Wild charge. Since that's going to be active, it's going to be attack 8. Actually, no, that's augmentive. Bolt of energy. That's going to be a at to 8 check. And the benediction of the masses is going to be a at to 8 check. So what is actually our basic? Yeah, average is 10, hard's 11. So 1d10 on average. 4. So we could probably bump that up to 11 for each of these. So at to 11. At to 11. Wild charge is augmented, attack 11. Because one thing I gotta remember is that you technically are adding the entire squad's thing to this. So a knave with a lot of tactics is going to be able to pull off a maneuver, actually. So what I'm going to do, okay. So the knave's starting maneuver. Fighting dirty. The knave's troops deal +1. Do +2 damage to when engaging a unit that is already fighting. Starting maneuver. Volley fire, attack 8, attack 11. The Rangers troops went forward 2 volleys of arrows, attacking at range twice. White and dirty. Volley of arrows. So effectively, if I choose to be a knight warlord, I have shield wall and wild charge, and I am able to select fighters and infantry for my squad. Yeah. Yes. Yes, that is correct. I feel like I'm missing something. I'll actually split these up into their respective classes, so boom, 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 okay. Composition. A captain needs a group of daring individuals to follow them into combat and are willing to die by either side. These people are called the Captain's Squad. The squad is composed of a group of individuals who add their attributes together to form the squad's attribute. The squad's total attributes. Each member of a squad is designated as a trooper. Actually, the maximum squad size allowed is dictated by the captain's tactics score, allowing them to bring in additional men to their ranks. Every captain starts the game with 5 soldiers in their squad. And then we're going to make a table. And then we're going to do an insert, table, and we're going to do that. We're going to do tactics score, squad size increase. 0 to 1. Actually, squad size maximum 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 6 to 7, 8 to 9, 10 to 11. 10 is the max, right? Yeah, 10's the max. Actually, what I might do is 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 5, 6. No, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. I think that's fair. Like, you reward people for going too hard out, but you don't want people to, like, over spam it and then be like, this is the only thing I'm good at is tactics, but hey, at least I have my 17 bajillion, squad mates that can do everything for me. Are you not going to want to work for me? I guess not. You don't feel like working that way today. Alright, cool, whatever. We're just gonna do it. Property. We're actually going to do a table limit left. The captain is allowed to draft their initial squad by using the starting units available to them. 2 of them being from their class, as well as the peon unit. Peon unit, which has 0 in everything, in every attribute, but can be upgraded into any other class's starting unit. We're going to not create a footnote. We want to create a table. I'm going to do an example. Jeffrey of Linderholm, because we want to make it sound as German as possible. Is a Knight Ranger of the Holy Order of the Kingdom of Bermany. Of Greater Bermany. He composes his starting squad of 3 infantry, and 2 poachers. He has the endurance and outdoorsmanship skills, as well as the shield wall and volley fire maneuvers to start. Linderholm. Actually, making a kit. Actually, no. We'll just do an example. Joffrey Linderholm squad. Starting character. Jeffrey. So, let's see what we got so far. We've got pretty good. We're doing pretty alright. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this first. 2, 3, 4, yep. Move you down a little bit so I don't have to think about it. So, combat is actually macro combat. Warband new. Actually, I'm going to do micro combat first. Micro combat. Captain's fighting. There will be times when the captains themselves are forced into conflict without their squad at their back. When this occurs, the captains have entered micro combat. character rolls 1d10 plus a dex to determine their starting skills. Actually, I should put a section called Health and Well-Being. We'll call it right there, squad composition, just so we know how squads are made, and then we'll make Health and Well-Being. There are no immortals except in Tall Tales and old wives' stories. People die. People die in pain and are often more than willing to do everything in their power to prevent themselves from suffering. This is where health comes into play. Each character has health equal to, actually each captain has health equal to 10 plus toughness times 2. Actually, we're going to do healthness and tough time. While each trooper has health equal to 5 plus toughness times 5. Next we'll do times 3. When a captain or trooper has reached 0 health, they are in critical condition. They will need to be carried out of the fight and are unconscious for the rest of the encounter. However, if a character in this condition is attacked again, they are killed. A character in critical condition does not contribute to the squad's overall health, overall ability, and their attributes are taken away from the squad's total. Overall ability and their attributes are taken away from the squad's total. If a captain falls in combat, their troops will attempt to evacuate their captain right away, taking in additional evacuate their captain right away, fleeing the battle to protect them. They are unable to escape. They will fight to protect their captain, but but can no longer receive new maneuvers or orders. So effectively, one of the big things that I'm seeing with health is if you get, how I plan on doing health anyway is when you're attacking someone, when squad 1 attacks squad 2, and we deal damage, you have to divvy up that damage among all your soldiers. So overall, a basic trooper, I'll use, let's just use like a basic infantryman, for example, has 8 health, pretty much has 8 health, because he has 1 toughness. And this is just a basic infantry soldier. While the captain has minimum, mind you, with 0 toughness, 10 health. So overall, your squad, if it's composed of, let's say you have 3 toughness. Actually, let's say you have 4 toughness. Let's say you're a big strong. You have 30 health on your captain, and let's say you have 3 soldiers, 3 infantry, and how much are on the poachers? Cool. So, and let's say you have 8. So overall you have 8, 16, 32, 40, 40 health for your soldiers. Overall, your entire squad has a total of 70 health. 40 health among 5 troopers. That's how much health your squad has. Actually, we'll just say a toughness 4 captain. Toughness 4 captain. So, overall, your squad can take 70 health before everyone dies. However, as an individual, you're going to want to have to decide of who's going to take what damage. Do you really want Joffrey of Dumberholm to take your captain to take a lot of damage? Because if your captain falls, your troops start not doing very well, and depending on how much damage is being distributed, you may want to spread it out a little bit more. Or if the enemy has special maneuvers or tactics, which pretty much allow them to focus fire certain characters. Being like, yeah, I'm going to randomly roll now. Ring ding ding ding. Oh, I'm going to target your number 3 in your squad, and he's going to take 6 damage. Crap! I spread everything evenly so much. Now he's in critical condition, and he's going to die unless I get him out of the fight. He's no longer contributing to the fight, and he's not going to make it. This wants to actually. Let me see. I'm actually going to add a section. If a cat, the character, actually a trooper in critical condition. The trooper has their toughness in rounds to be recovered or healed, or they will perish. The captain has toughness times 2 rounds to be evacuated, or will bleed out, Alternatively, if their squad is destroyed, they will perish or be captured. So, effectively speaking, kind of just overall, taking a lot of damage real fast, your overall health is going to be a lot lower. But if you're going up against things who are like toughness 3 even, suddenly you're dealing with 14 health for each soldier, and that's a lot of damage. So you want to limit their ability to do damage to you. And mind you, every attack, minimum, is going to do a D10 damage to you, just because of just attrition and war and death and hardship. But you're also going to be able to do a lot of damage to them. So it's kind of it's rocket taggy in some ways, but you also want characters who have a lot of health because they can tank it. So you can give that sergeant who has 30 health, he can eat that entire 20 damage attack you just took, and he's going to be fine. Your other squad mates are going to be fine. The problem comes if you're with a squishy squad. Say, for example, these, if we scroll up to, like, the rogues, for example. The rogues have toughness 0. They have 3 health. They have 5 health. That's it. Like, you get some luckier ones, kind of like these, kind of the tougher, some of these guys will upgrade more gradually, but these are starting units. At least you're having 5 health. Some of these guys just don't get toughness very often. Their upgrades don't emphasize toughness. Their upgrades emphasize other abilities, or using their abilities to greater effects. Rogue doesn't really have anything. He has his basic abilities. A poacher has his bow, and that's really it. Which I should actually give units equipment, but I'll detail that in the equipment section of like each trooper, kind of like what troopers can be given. Yeah, if they have ranged weapons or melee weapons, yeah, that works. Actually, I can probably do that in like a squad, like dedicated like unit section. Yeah, I'll have to actually do that. Fuck. Okay. So, getting, kind of charging in there foolhardily will get your squad killed. And, you lose 1-2 squad members right off the bat, suddenly you're at, you're at almost a third strength. And God help you if you lose your captain all of a sudden because they did like a big focused fire attack on you. Suddenly you don't even have that. Suddenly you're kind of flailing a little bit. And you're like, crap, what do I do? What's the plan? Do I pull back? Do I dedicate more? Do I try to do more damage? Do I try to like ease back? And you may be wondering, why don't I just build a character that's, 5 strength, 5 toughness, ultimate death machine? Because you won't be able to succeed at tactics hardly. And the enemy will be succeeding at tactics rolls. Or they'll be able to pepper your guys from a distance. And if you lose half your soldiers on the charge up because you don't want to take any damage, so it's like, well, shit. My soldiers are all dying, so you have to accommodate your soldiers. You also have to have your tactics high, or if you're a mage, you have to have your attunement higher, and you also want to have your dexterity up if you're even, considering doing some more movement abilities, or you want a little bit of everything, but spreading yourself completely thin is useless. So you kind of have to rely on your other teammates. I mean, it's like, well, I know he's going to maneuver this way, and I know he's going to maneuver that way, so I'm going to do my own thing and hope for the best. Or, hey, well, I have my squad here, he has his squad here, we can do a pincer attack on this guy, do a crap ton of damage to him, and see if we can't kill some of his guys. And suddenly they're not hitting for nearly as hard. Like, they're still doing some casualties to us, but not, like, it goes from, like, we're taking, like, massive casualties to we're taking, like, nothing. It's, like, the hardest part of the game is going to be those initial battles, initial, like, 2-3 battles, because that's when you're going to lose troops. And, like, that's when you're going to lose Sonny Jim, the basic soldier man. He's like, I'm going to help you guys, I'm a soldier. And then he runs in there and takes an axe to the face. But if you can nurture your troops, if you can nurture them properly, you're going to be rewarded with stronger and stronger troops who are going to be able to tank that damage, who are going to be able to do that insane amount of damage, who are going to be able to do these things. If you don't nurture them, the big if you don't nurture them, that's when things are going to get a little bit tricksy. That's when you start losing men, and suddenly you have to pay out to get better ones. So you have to make a compromise. Do I want to protect the men I have right now with the assumption that they're going to get stronger? Or do I just want to sacrifice them because I know I'm going to get paid a shit ton of money that I can just buy better ones? I'm a genius. And one of my big things is there's going to probably be like a size difference, like a differential in size. It's like if you have less troops than someone, your basic damage is going to be less. Probably going to be starting at 5 with D10, then D8, D6, D4. and then it's just coin flips from there. Like if like one man versus a squad of 5, yeah, you'd be able to do quite a bit of damage by virtue of just being someone strong if you can land those hits consistently. But fun fact, if there's 5 guys versus 1, inevitably one's going to get a cheeky stab and you're kidney, and suddenly you're on your ass and bleeding to death on the ground. But one of the big things I want to emphasize as well is that these troops are loyal to their captain. Actually, health and morale. Actually, if we're going to be absolute monsters, let's see. We're going to do 14. Pretty much, like, if you lose half your health, people start panicking and people start not listening. So, very hard. Very hard. Tactics roll to reorganize. It does not act for the turn. The next turn, they make a hard tactics roll, and so on. Okay. Now we get to work on a micro combat. So captain fighting. Each character determine their starting initiative value. This determines when the character is going to act in the round. Actually, I'm going to there'll be turn forced into conflict. Unless one party's in ambush or attacking in entrenched position, which case the attacker or defender respectively would act first. Each character's turn is 6 seconds, and every action committed is referred to as the round. And we're going to go back here. Actually, what we can do, we're going to go back to a completely different game. And now for something completely different. We're going to... Yes, Della. We want to do Kimbi. There we go. Actions in combat. Ability or tool, attack, damage, defend, delay, maneuver, other focus. Okay. You know it's important when we got the big screen out. So overall, we're going to have ability or tool. Or tool. Actually, just copy paste this one right here. That works. So in attack, the character goes in for an attack against an opponent. Rolling in opposed strength versus toughness check. Determine if it hits or not. Not. Strength slash dex. Doing opposed check. Rolling in opposed check to determine if it hits or not. Melee strikes are attackers' strength versus defenders' dex or toughness. Ranged attack. Range shots are attackers' dex versus defenders' dex. Magical spells are attackers' attunement versus defenders' attunement. Defend. Character focuses exclusively on defending themselves. They roll a check. They roll their next defensive check with 2d10 and take the highest. Delay. The character reduces their actually I will do with wind up this time. The character reduces their initiative value to any to any value between their initiative and 0. They keep this and 0, dealing that much extra damage on their next attack. This is wasted if the attack misses. Maneuver. It tends to use a micro maneuver. Use a micro maneuver in combat, resulting in the effect taking. Actually, no. Let's use it. Actually, attempts to use a maneuver in combat, rolling an opposed check to determine the effects. Footnote: a maneuver is effectively any action that is not necessarily stated by the rules to occur, such as kicking an opponent off the ledge. Shoulder bashing shoulder bashing them against a wall. Or swinging merrily from a chandelier to a flowing strike downward. Succeed. If the maneuver was to do damage, the character roll 1d10 plus tactics for the overall damage. Actually, character adds tactics to the damage instead of strength, dexterity. Focus. Character takes a breather and refocuses. They re-roll their initiative with an extra d10. What is actually it's reposition. The character, where is it? Yeah, no, the maneuver is getting kind of stolen from Blood, Coin, and Steel a little bit, and what pretty much in Blood, Coin, and Steel, the combat system in that game is a little bit more, I wouldn't call it freeform, but I would say it's a lot more based on where people are and kind of how people are positioned rather than straight up, oh, you're here and doing this, you're not doing things right, blah, blah, blah. No, it's more like, okay, I have the high ground on him, I can do something here and make his day miserable because I'm a dick. And I gotta do all this, don't I? So kind of the maneuver is, you're actively encouraged to kind of like just play dirty with maneuvers. Wind up, maneuver, refocus, reposition. We want to Control X, determine its effect, insert footnote right here. And we're going to do add-on sort of paragraph like that, boom, biata. Okay. What do I add? So I'm going to put best distance. Actually, put standard issue science fiction. We'll use that there. So I'm using this for micro combat. Okay, let's go to nice fights and others where they are shooting madly at each other with arrows across large distances. is a reposition. Can move 1 to C as well. Characters allowed to use their drive is from a completely different game, mind you, so that's interesting that that's there. I'm going to have to try to fix that one of these days. Let's see, space distance, really. That's how I move there. It's more dramatic. Reposition would be bashing the door, taking the guard on the other side. And here's the side they want to move somewhere. They don't have to way there. We'll have within reason to move for free. 2 knights, maybe 1 to Steve. But to the grunts, 2 knights, maybe actually 2 giants, maybe 1 to Steve from it, but 2 grunts on the ground. They're coming almost a mile. Almost equals to the giant's foot. And as you fight for the castle. Stomping around in an open field. Hey, okay. Why are you that way? Why? But why? But why? Actually, I should technically make you 2. Micro combat. Actually, what I'm going to do is turn you into 2. Turn you into a 3. Because now we have to worry about macro combat. Macro combat. Soldiers in the field. When engaging other war bands in the field, it is paramount that your soldiers are fighting to their best ability. An unorganized force is little more than a target to a much more organized. An unorganized force is little more than a target to a stronger one, while a smoothly operating force can take on the world and win. When war bands clash, each captain rolls 1d10 plus their squad's dex to determine their initial starting initiative. Their squad's dex to determine the initial starting initiative. Descent from there in ascending order. The captains place their units on the battlefield in their respective areas of choice. Then, when the battle begins, the order of initiative is determined by descending order. So effectively, the spirit here is I am placing my soldiers down on the field. If I lose initiative, I'm placing my soldiers down on the field before you. So I'm going to play, okay, well, I want to put my squad here, I'm going to put my squad here, I'm going to put my squad here. Well, they're, on the other hand, they're saying, okay, I'm going to put my squad over here, I'm going to take this hill right away because, fuck you, I have a hill now and you don't. And I'm going to put my guy over here. Like, oh man, those archers are now holding a point that we don't have access to, and they're going to be able to rain down terror upon us. And the last guy is like, well, I'm going to put my cavalry right down here on this flat open field, directly paramount to my archers, who are going to get raffle stomped. And then it goes descending order. So, hey, those cavalrymen are going to operate first, and they're going to charge in and you will murder my face. Or, hey, these guys are going to absolutely destroy my life real fast. BRB, just dying real fast. So it's kind of that you want to have you want to win the dex check, so you actually place your units last, so you kind of know where they're going and you're going, as well as being able to set up unique things like ambushes, which reminds me, special deployments. There will be times when a warband encounters another force in a unique situation. When this, depending on the situation, a unique set of rules for deployment may take place. Ambush. If a warband ambushes another, the ambushers are free to deploy the enemy units, the opposing squad, the ambushed squads, wherever they please, after which they are able to deploy their own. Siege. If a warband sieges a location, footnote, a location with at least basic defenses surrounding it, or a castle. The defenders deploy first, then the attackers, regardless of, actually the attackers deploy first, regardless of the initiative roll. Let's see, we have ambushes, sieges. Actually, oh yeah, eruption of conflict. If a warband is engaged in a flurry of combat, if the warband is forced to, if the opposing warbands are intermingled, each side deploys the other's squads however they please. And what do I mean by eruption of conflict? Let's say you're all sitting in kind of like a war camp or something, you know, like, oh, we're all fine and dandy, and then suddenly someone starts a fight, and then everyone, you know, it's draw sword, everyone starts killing each other. That's kind of the eruption of conflict. Like, you're really close to each other, and then the fight, you know, escalates from there. I would say something like the Red Wedding, but that's not quite what I see. But it's one of those things like you can say it and you understand what I mean, but let's see, what am I looking at here? What am I looking at here? It's another good one. Oh god, what's another good one? It looks like, yeah, I think these three are. Macro combat, soldiers, initiative, heading 3, special deployments. In case you're wondering, getting ambushed is bad because they can really position your troops in really poor areas, and suddenly it's just like, well, crap, like, our cavalry is completely out of position right now, and they're all going to get slaughtered. Or, hey, why is my squad of archers suddenly deployed right next to their very angry men with swords who want to stab me to death? This kind of sucks, and now I'm dying. That's kind of the quid pro quo there. But if you ambush someone and be like, haha, let's put their crappy archers right next to my squad of murder, rape barbarians, and suddenly it's just... Meanwhile, as the screams of pain erupt. 2, 3, and I'm going to just smash this button a few times so we can get that down. And we're going to do orders, maneuvers, and tactics. In the field, a captain may issue an order, may issue a general order to his squad, issue a maneuver, or try to undertake a tactic. Orders are general objectives of the squad in general. Once an order is given, the squad will carry it out until it is either cancelled or it is overridden by another order. So, is attack, is melee attack, so we're gonna do our basic orders. So our basic orders are going to be attack. The squad goes on the offensive and attacks another squad within range. Within range. If the attack is successful, actually, the squad rolls in. Actually, we're going to have to do so. Melee attack, melee assault. The squad becomes engaged with another squad and rolls in opposed strength versus toughness. Victor's check. On a success, the loser takes 1d10 plus strength damage, and the victor takes the size die. And the victor and the loser and the let's see, the loser and the victor and the victor's strength plus victor's strength damage, and the victor takes, see, the victor takes 1d10 damage as well. Actually, I'm going to do it. Yeah, well, no, 1d10. We want to stick with the 1d10. So overall, you're going to do more damage to them than they can do to you unless your strength is really low, which again, it really shouldn't if you're going in for a melee assault. So ranged strike. Squad takes aim and unleashes a volley of fire. Volley of fire on the loser's toughness. Take 1d10 damage minus Victor's toughness. Nah, do I want to do that, or do I just want to make the opposed check? Opposed strength for strength check. Strength for a strength check. Victor deals 1d10 plus strength damage. Strength minus loser's toughness. Damage while the loser deals 1d10 minus Victor's toughness and damage back. Damage in retaliation. This aim unleashes a volley of ranged attacks on the opponent. They make an opposed Dex versus toughness check. On a success, the squad deals 1d10 plus Dex. Damn it. Dex minus enemy toughness. Okay, so actually if I want to, the victor of the assault deals 1d10 plus strength, actually minus toughness, but Loser deals 1d10 minus victor's toughness and damage and retaliation. My only fear here is that you can create turtles. I do absolutely no goddamn damage, but I'm just a giant walking tank that... On a fail... Actually... Fail the squad. Deals 1d10 minus enemy TGH. And magical ability. Squad unleashes a actually I'm not. Move. The squad makes a dedicated move to a location. Makes a dedicated move to a location. Moving 2 units per round until they reach their destination. During this time, they are considered exposed. So I might do something like that. So if you flank an enemy, they get the exposed. So pretty much they don't add their toughness. They don't reduce their toughness by anything. So you're pretty much ambushing people or doing like big attacks. So pincering people is a really good way of actually dealing with them because they don't get their toughness bonus to actually reduce damage. I think that might be they're considered yeah. Hold fast. The squad holds their ground. They gain +2 to any attack against them. To defend against any attack against them. Refocus. The squad takes a breather and reassesses their issues. All members of the squad restore 2 health, and they re-roll initiative with an extra d10. They are considered exposed. So these are your basic orders, effectively. Actually, I should. to retreat. The squad makes a dedicated effort to flee the battlefield and regroup elsewhere. All members take 1d6 health damage and reform 1d10 and 10 units away. And reform 1d10 units away. Units away chosen by the captain. They immediately break any engagement. So effectively speaking, my concept here, the dream, you could say, is that if a unit decides to retreat, so you're in the fight, you're going to win, you choose to retreat, everyone takes a d6 damage, and everyone just runs. And the thing is, if you're in engagement and try to move away, obviously, you're going to get fucked. You're stuck in combat unless you retreat or you defeat them, force them to retreat. That's kind of the dream right there, is that you force them to retreat, and suddenly they're taking a lot of health damage, or they aren't doing anything, considered exposed and getting, beat up. That's kind of the order of operations there. That's at least how the idea works in my head, at least. How the idea works in my head versus how it actually works is something very, very different. Very different. It's also very late. I've been streaming for like 2 hours. But hey, let's keep going, shall we? This is what we do. Health-wise, I would say 1d6 because... here, let me bring up my... I don't have it here. My one fear with that, of doing like a lot of big damage, is because health on most troopers, like members of the squad, are like starting is about 8. So if you're already retreating, that probably means you're already taking damage. And I don't want, oh, you've rolled badly, it's suddenly like your entire squad's just dead. I want to punish players, but I don't want it to be like, okay, you lost your entire squad, you're out of the fight now. Oh, wait, meant for the distance? Yeah, actually, good point. That's actually a really good point. 1d10 plus 1. Units away. Yeah, this isn't even going into the units thing. Yeah, no, good catch, good catch. Also noticed that you actually subscribed like 2 days ago, so thank you. Not subscribed, followed at least, so thank you. Yeah, no, good call. It's the point of retreat is to allow a captain to say, my guys are getting tore up, we need to get out of here. And you're getting punished, but you're also, hey, we're going to completely get decimated this fight. Or we run away, take a little damage, and kind of figure out what we can do next. Like, run away. Bravely run away the other direction from the enemy trying to murder us. It's called advancing backwards. But... let's see. Let's move, refocus, retreat. Where was I? Oh, we gotta do a maneuver. Maneuvers. A captain, once around, may issue a maneuver on their squad's initiative round. These maneuvers often require a going to put maneuvers over here. Trying to undertake a tactic. It's effectively it. Hi. It's... let's see. Yeah, I was thinking about that, because the key idea is that there's 3 main types of units. There are infantry, fairly obvious. I am running around on my feet trying to stab an enemy. Rangers, and cavalry. My key thing is I want cavalry to get a lot of movement, and they can just travel farther, and their things like their charges are really good, and they get a lot of bonuses to charging in, but they get a lot of penalties to being stuck in combat. Alternatively, archers, their big thing is that they're doing consistently low amounts of damage, possibly, if they're not hitting it very well. And they're also probably trash garbage in melee combat, and they're going to get slaughtered in there because they actually don't because they're going to have crappy weapons, and that means everyone's going to get a really big bonus to ripping them to shreds because ha 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 ha, you have a bow and I have a sword. Alternatively, kind of like in melee fights, it's kind of a risk reward because you're going into the assault. You're going to take damage regardless of whether or not you succeed at a check. It just determines who's taking as much damage. So being stuck in combat, inevitably you're going to start taking some damage. You're going to get hurt. But yeah, basically how captain stats are playing mostly into it is the tactics stat, attribute that is being used to determine the size of your squad. Pretty much the higher your tactics score, the more people you can fit in your squad and manage effectively. Alternatively, your tactics also determines whether or not you can use things like maneuvers. And actually, if I scroll up a bit, yeah, I've been doing this for like 2.5 hours, and the fatigue has finally hit me. It's just like, I can do this. More coffee. Yeah, here we can use the knight, for example. Is to use this maneuver, he has to roll a tactics roll of 11 with all his troops in his squad. And for a low-level squad, that's going to be kind of hard. Picture trying to organize a bunch of guys like, okay, everyone, stand in the line with your shields interlocked. No, you pull back. You move up a little bit. That's not an interlocking shield. That's not a shield, Todd. That's just your helmet. Like, versus more like skilled soldiers are going to be able to immediately put their shields up, cross-link, and be able to advance pretty easily. So it's kind of that, how do you want to play it? This is just, I'm in the phase right now as well of just slapping all the information down. It's better to have it down at least than not have it. Also, shame GDG died. I was emotionally destroyed. Yesterday I was dead and didn't feel like doing anything. I'm like, I'll do this in the morning. No, I died before I got up. Press F. Let's see. Let's see how much have I wrote today. About 3,000 words. Enter maneuver on the squad's initiative round. These maneuvers often require a tactics, an attribute check with the squad. Failure means that the maneuver does not occur. As the maneuver be successfully performed. Yeah. know, it's like, at this point, I might come back to this. Like, tomorrow I'm going to have to, like, rip through a lot of things. I still have all these things to do. Equipment's going to be fairly easy, because I kind of know how I want to do that. Enemies and monsters, I get the basics done, veterancy and heroics, advancement. I might have to put a section right here, which can effectively be summarized as class maneuvers and stuff. That's kind of your catch-all place of this, like, here. I think the absolute hardest part of this entire thing is just going to be writing all the class maneuvers, because what I want to do is do about 10 tiers of each of them. Pretty much, you have to select A or B on your which one you want. Like, do you want to go more offensive, or do you want to go more defensive? Which spells do you want, or which spells you don't? So roughly speaking, every level, you could say, you get the option between 4 new maneuvers to select from, because you have 2 classes. The other hard part is going to be getting all of the soldiers and their 3 tiers, because unfortunately, how I decided to do it is the most masochistic way possible, because you have your base unit, let's say infantry, and then it splits off into 2, which I'm thinking of sergeant or light cavalry. And from the sergeant, you have another 2, and light cavalry, you have another 2. If I really wanted to go hardcore, I'm only probably going to go 3 up, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be about 4 different kinds of units at the end for max level. But if I really wanted to go hardcore, I would do 2 from there, make it 8 different tier 4. You know, 4 different tier 2. Tier 2 is 1 tier 1, 1 tier 0, 2 tier 2. I'm tired, if you can't realize yet. But I'm still pushing through. I want to get this section done. Secondly, successfully performed by this. Requires certain parameters. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I debated. I actually sat with myself and being this, like, do I want to go like hardcore, like super autism, and go Final Fantasy Tactics all the way, or even like refer back to like things like Tactics Ogre or something like that. And I reasoned it out how to do it, and the answer was I wanted to throw myself out of a window, because it was just so many numbers and so many, like, just like, oh, well, this has to be class this, and this has to be class this, and you have to then make sure this is this and this and this, and it became a lot of micromanaging individual troops, and that's kind of the white whale issue with this entire thing. Is, do you choose to micromanage each and every one of your troops, depending on what equipment they have, depending on what armor you have, and, you know, make sure they all have their health potions, make sure they all get their pat on the backs, make sure they all have their caps on? Or do you go the more large scale, you know, like, this is your squad, this is what they're composed of, like it. I had to kind of lean toward that for the tabletop experience. So, there's that. Even though I'm still debating if I want to put like a, dare I say, homebrew. Exactly, it's Vidya. One of the advantages of Vidya is that you got a lot of back end stuff to do all the unfun parts. Unfortunately for good old tabletop RPGs, the back end is you, the player, and that's not fun for anyone. So, overall, I'm trying to just do a lot of derived stats. That's kind of my one of my other things I'm attempting to just keep the sake of. So like, hey, your morale breaks when you're at half health for your overall health. So hey, the captain's over half health and he's worth like 90% of the squad's health and he's at half health. We're all start panicking because we're a bunch of idiots and our Superman's getting injured. Is that entirely accurate? Probably not, but I'm still debating if I like how overly fantastic I want these things to be. Because part of me wants to keep it the, dare I say, Mountain Blade level of things. Being it's like, yes, these are just dudes doing dude things and there's magic and we don't really care. The other part of me is just like, just go full fantastic and have like, yes, this is what a squad of orcs look like. Or this is what a squad of murderous goblins that want to eat your face look like. And these are their tactics, these are their abilities, and these are what they can do to eat your face and vomit on you and kill you. That's kind of a... That's one of the other issues with this game, is that currently it's setting agnostic. But I might want to dedicate a setting to it. Or I might just say, screw it, it's Civilus. A Final Fantasy Tactics RPG nobody asked for. At least it's better than the overly autistic fucking Final Fantasy RPGs you find out there. Jesus. I love those ones to pieces because they are just absolutely insane. Yeah, no, it's... I think the main issue with a lot of... Why are you that way? I think you should be 2, shouldn't you? You should be 3. The issue with a lot of Final Fantasy RPGs I've noticed is that they try to emulate the games like one for one, and it doesn't work. It just never works the way they want it to. I know the biggest one, it's God, what is it? Like Crystal Chronicles or something. Like they called it something like really borderline. It's its own Final Fantasy game. It's like 400 pages, and it's just like, well, if your crystal energy is this high, that means you can perform your limit break up this amount. I'm like, what the fuck are you smoking? Like, no player is going to want to manage this entire thing. I think it's just like how there's no good Pokemon RPG out there. That's another project I would love to undertake one day, just to make my own Mon game, but that's such a bitch. It's because like everyone tries to replicate the games one for one. It's just like no, they're games for a reason, mate. They are games for a reason. Technically, you shouldn't be there. Where'd you... Actually... tactic is is an advanced order that can be issued to have the squad perform a specific action at a location. These tactics often lead into other orders or into orders or assist in other actions performed by the squad. Let's see, charge placements. Like, my idea for tactics is effectively like orders that you can give that are more like temporary. It's like, oh, this is a charge. Like, you are literally telling your guys, run straight at the enemy and kill them. Versus, you know, an attack being, it's like you just attack the nearest enemy or attack them. So it's kind of like that. How do I want to do that? I just want to put those in orders. Half of me just wants to put it in orders. Half of me wants to put it in its own little category. Oh, wait, placements, dual. Fuck it. Charge of it. The squad launches into a charge against the enemy. Moving a set of units determined by the squad's lowest dex score. The end of the charge, the unit gains a plus. Actually, unit doubles their strength versus their strength for their melee assault. Yeah, it's like the thing is, like, they act like orders, but I also want to make it so that, like, part of me wants to, like, add different tactics for different characters. Like the knave, for example, may get, hey, you get from your selection of 4 when you level up or rank up, or however I want to word it, is you get the option of a maneuver, a passive ability, something really simple, or like a new tactic you can do. Like, hey, we're coating, everyone coat your weapons in poison. We're stabbing people in their sleeps tonight. Or, hey, we have a new tactic that you can undertake. That gives your guys, like, it's kind of more like a one-off order. Yeah, I think I can probably just fold it under orders. I think that'll be an easier idea.
State Farm is announcing the Good Neighbor.
What? Hi, State Farm. What do you want? No, I don't care. Give me more guitar. Welcome to State Farm telling me to. Yeah. I'm just gonna fold this in. No, I'm not, because the thing with orders is that they're permanent, while the thing with orders is that they're permanent and your squad will continue doing it, while tactics are something you have to make a decision on between making a tactic or making a maneuver. So if I say I'm making an order, if I'm making an order to attack, my guys are going to continuously attack every round, but I don't actually have to tell them to, hey, go attack every round. That's not my action. My action could be use a tactic or use a maneuver. So if I tell my guys to move, and then I can say, make a tactic to say, hey, we're going to charge now, and we're going to do a big charge. And if you tell them to refocus every turn, unless I tell them to not refocus anymore, for an action, mind you, they're going to continue to refocus. So okay, I in my head, I know I can see it. Because pretty much what I want to do is the wily commander is going to issue the best way I can state it is that an order is a general objective. Okay, guys, we need to move to that hill, and let's say again you move 2 units every turn, and it's 6 units away. Over the next 3 turns, my squad is going to move there. That's what they're going to do. But during the first action I would have to make to move 2 units, that's my first action. But action 2 and action 3, issue a tactic, begin attempt to maneuver, or something similar to that. That's how I am seeing it. Well, tactics are kind of the more specific, like, okay, we're moving. Oh no, there's an enemy around the hill. Charge. We're going to charge them and attack them now. Or hey, we're going to set emplacements here or something like that. It's like, unless I want to reward orders, like I can see it in my head what it is. I can see my players doing it. But wording it, putting it into words is the hard part. Because it's easy if again, it's one of those things like you can see it. And this is the thing I always hate is I can see me sitting there around this table. I have my little token representing my squad, and I can always see my old Grog GM, him looking at it, and I can say like, okay, I'm going to move here. But okay, I issued my order. I'm going to move here. I'm going to move here. Being like, oh well, I'm going to do a maneuver here so I get more things, or I'm going to cast a spell here so I get more abilities or something by the time I reach my location. Yeah, that works, I think. Yeah, God. Again, I'm just going to get it on paper. First things first, let's just get it on paper, because I want things like duels to be specific. Like, hey, you're a captain. I'm literally just calling someone out, being like, I'm going to attack you now. It's just the captain's stats versus each other, and you just start fighting each other. No, not unit, just the captains. Channeling a little bit of my inner romance of the Three Kingdoms there. Yeah, don't challenge Lu Bu, because Lu Bu will fuck your day up. I learned that mistake more than once. Ooh. So actually, I'm gonna put placements. No, I'm not gonna put in placements down. It's dumb. I'm glad that someone's here, because I'm one of those people who likes just to kind of speak to someone about something. I like bouncing it off people. They're probably 95% asleep anyway, so. I'm unfortunately one of those people. No worries, no worries. Again, I usually upload these. I've been lazy. I'm like halfway through the Hearts of Darkness stuff. I keep meaning to, like, I'm going to download all these massive videos of me talking to myself about war crimes and upload it to YouTube, which I'm amazed, mind you, amazed have not been taken down yet. But I digress. But so that's just kind of how it is sometimes. I'm unfortunately in that weird situation as well. Not online school, but just being an unemployed NEET at this time, as my one awesome job that I had lined up said, "Hey, coronavirus happened, mates. So, yeah, we'll get back to you." I'm like, that's just dandy. So I've just been writing at this point. I write, I drink, I write again. If things go right, I'll actually be able to set up a book I've been writing. I'll be able to get that done. Take me some time though, but it'll be done. It's not your fault. No, it was one of those things of like where it was happening, it makes complete sense. And like I went to like the trainings and all that beforehand, and they're just like, we don't know what's going on, we'll keep you informed. And then I got an email saying, hey man, super duper sorry, we'll get back to you when, you know, the apocalypse ends. But hey, I got more time to write games. My one and only hobby, really. Not exactly the most pulse-pounding hobby, but it's fun. I enjoy it. Let's see. God damn it. Google Docs seems to not like it, but hey, what can I say? Eh. I mean, I don't... Yeah, call this productive. I don't know if I would call this productive, though. God, let's see. Since this started, I've updated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 games entirely. And this is going to be number 9 of just me writing one whole cloth. Hey, at least I got more time to, screw around on GDG. Or scant few times GDG becomes a thing. Let's see, maneuvers. Can I actually fold maneuvers into this? Yes, I can. That's not right. Volga. So I'm to write that one whole cloth. Yeah, you say that. No, it's... GDG is always one of those weird beasts because the Discord guys are a strange bunch. I don't know if you're a part of the Discord at all. But like they're sometimes a little bit dare I say hostile to the non-Discord approved threads. Because if you actually look at the last one, there's about 250 people in the GDG Discord, the official GDG Discord, and there was one guy who posted there, I believe, one. That was Vagrant Dev. He posted it. He said zones, and that was it. Maybe this is just drunk notepad talking to himself, but it's. I wish people would be a little bit more active on like anytime a GDG thread pops up who are part of the Discord. Because, again, there's 250 people in it, and that, it's like, hey, you can do stuff. You can help these people who obviously have games they want to do. And, I was actually pretty happy near the end there. I checked the archive for it, and people were kind of not really self-reviewing, but people were taking a look at other people's games. I was like, thank God. Because if you actually review that thread, I replied so many goddamn times. I was just like, keep this thread alive. I gotta keep this thread alive. I gotta keep GDG going. I've been debating on making my own version of it every now and again. Just kind of like as an intermediary one, being just like, hey, post your games, post any writing bits, and I'll review them because I'm me. And I have no life and I must scream. God bless you, brother. You're better than the majority of people. There is a Discord. Check in a few, probably about another two weeks, and like the official quote-unquote GDG will pop up when the Vagrant Dev decides he wants to post it, and he will post it at a completely arbitrary time. Mind you, the last official one was posted like on a Thursday afternoon, like at 2:30 in the afternoon, like a Thursday or something. It was like, I think it was like Eastern Standard Time, US time. It was like, why the hell did you post this here? Like, this is like the worst time. It was on like page 9 before anyone started posting anything on it. And everyone in the Discord was just like, this is why we don't go to 4chan anymore. I mean, it was like, because you posted it at a really awful time. This isn't rocket science, people. But yeah, here, actually, give me 1 second. I don't know if you're would be interested in, I can give you the link to it. There, and that's the link to the official GDG Get Discord. They're nice people. I won't say they're not nice people, but there are definitely people who dominate the conversations there. You will notice that Monchop, the Vagrant Star dev, does. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ops and Tactics before, but Sweet Soul Bro's on there. He goes by Melon on. Yeah, it does look like he is on. Yeah, no, it's Ops and Tactics is actually a really interesting game because Melon is, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, autistic about guns. He loves his guns. And he took D20 Modern and made it its own, like, hardcore gun simulator. It's... Honestly, you can probably just ask him for the books and you can get it. He'll get it to you. Like, it's some solid work for, again, D20 Modern. But, yeah, even just, like, kind of looking around, you'll notice, like, a few people kind of dominate the conversation mostly. Nothing wrong with that. But it's just kind of annoying when the people who dominate the conversation on the Discord don't participate on the threads that they start and then complain that there's not enough traction on. Kind of a circular, logic thing. I was hoping, like, come on, people. We had some pretty good stuff. There was the Etrian Odyssey guy that was pretty good. There was the God, who was it? I can see it. The Fear and Loathing guy. I love the Fear and Loathing game personally, and that was a piece of artwork to me. But Hunter S. Thompson is my spirit animal at this point. So let's see, where are we? Let's see. God, this is actually officially my longest stream at 3 hours. Fuck me. But we're going to continue pushing through. So we've got all of that. We have the right battlefield new. No battlefields. Is a lock in. No battlefield is the same. There are hundreds of hills to die on, and thousands of miles of untouched land to bloody with the corpses of your enemies. Battlefield is your home. Your place is your home. And oftentimes it will be your demise. Sounds edgy as fuck, but it works. Yeah, that was solid. He was actually in here the other day. Last time he next time he comes on, he goes by Etanks here on Twitch. Yeah, he was pretty good. Like, he was a nice guy. And Etrian Odyssey is like one of those games that like I would love to play, but like everyone else has played Etrian Odyssey except me. So even just reading a little bit about it, but I thought it was I thought he had some pretty solid stuff. There was a guy who didn't quite like it, and it makes sense. He was merging two things together that could not work. The holy combination of OSR and the unholy object of 5e, but I think it worked overall. Nice, solid stuff. I wish we had more. Even just simple stuff like that, hell. Actually, like, OSR is like that was like my introduction to role-playing games. It was Castles and Crusades, actually, my first RPG session I ever had. Castles and Crusades, I made a gnome sorcerer, and the GM hated me because I played a gnome. And that was a fun campaign. That was a... You always remember fondly your first, RPG campaign. Just like, beautiful moment. Like, I remember this. Or when the other person there wanted to stab me because I was ugly. Like, it's not my fault that I'm a gnome. God, how I wish for those days again. How I wish. Hey, that group did not have a wizard, did not have a sorcerer properly. They had like a super buffed up, like, ultra wizard. And I'm like, you know what? I want to optimize. I want to be the nice, buttery, smooth entity that fits right into this party. I don't know why I made a hand motion that's very inappropriate. But, yeah, it worked. I had a few characters with that group. They were a fun bunch. That's also where I got introduced to my favorite RPG of all time, Rifts. If anyone tells you Rifts is a bad game, tell them they're wrong. Because Rifts is the greatest game ever created by mankind, and it's completely unplayable by anyone. It is. I love Rifts. That's a white whale holy grail for me to fix that damn game so I can play it with people. What was your first RPG, man? Or gal. 4E. Hey, living the dream. 4E was a good time. Everyone shits on 4E, but it's one of those things, like, you kind of play it for what it's meant to be, and it's pretty solid fun. I actually had I played 4E a few times, but I think my favorite time I played it was with another GM's son, who was like was younger than me. He was, I think, like 4 years younger than me. I was in high school, and he wanted to run 4E really badly, and it was me, his very bizarre sister, and I think his dad. Yeah, it had to be his dad was there too, and we played 4E, and it was a fantastic experience. He was a good GM if when he wasn't having his weird SPRUG episodes. His sister was weird. I remember the pile of swords with her. The very large pile of swords. Yeah. Fun fact. Do not look at crazy people, for they will try to romance you, and it's not good. When they threaten to kill someone for you, it's like, you know what? You do you. Good times, good times. Can I steal something? Yeah, I'm gonna steal from Hearts of Darkness. That's a good idea. Notepad hit the wrong button. Honestly, it would not be too difficult to do. I know I have a friend who swears by 4E being the greatest mecha game of all time. And I'm like, it makes sense. I know where you're coming from. And yeah, you can do a lot with 4E with just its kind of like basic systems. You can do a lot of stuff with that kind of setup. You say free hit, man, when she's like 120 pounds soaking wet, and the sword she wanted to use was bigger than hers. Like, no, this is too spook for Notepad. Too spook. situations. Terrain mod. Yeah, we'll just do terrain modifiers. As a terrain type, each unit has a terrain type and may contain unique features that can be controlled for benefit. Example features. All right. Yeah. No, I usually stream earlier. I mean, than this. This has just been a potato day for me, so I'm still up at God knows when. So yeah, go to bed, get some rest. If you see me on Discord at all, just look for the kind of the purple icon. You can just click and head right back here. Don't worry. Have a nice rest of your day. The village fronting. Keep going. And restore 1 health, and so we get the village of hunting. Some other good ones. Oops. There are 5 kinds of terrain. Terrain the battlefield can be composed of. Safe, rough, dangerous, hazardous, deadly. Safe terrain. No penalties or benefits. Rough terrain. Slower. Dangerous terrain. Squad moves 1 unit slower. Rolls 1d4 damage every round. Hazardous terrain. Squad moves 2 units slower. Rolls 1d6 damage every round. And finally, deadly terrain. Squad moves 3 units slower. Rolls 1d10 damage every round. Do not step in deadly terrain, it will kill you. So the idea is that every time you're standing pretty much stuck in a kind of terrain, you're going to be taking damage. You're going to, so let's say you're in kind of dangerous terrain, you got to roll d4 every round, and you got to apply that damage to everyone. And that's just nicks and crannies, and oh god, everything's awful and sucks, and I hate it. So let's see. We'll say, actually, roughly speaking, orders, so moving to using 4 units per round until they reach their destination. They're considered exposed. Actually, I should add conditions. During certain actions or maneuvers, during certain actions, a squad may gain a condition. A condition means that something is happening, happity-hoppity happening to the squad to prevent its full use of its abilities and skills in a certain situation. For example, the exposed condition means that if the unit is attacked, they cannot use their toughness to block damage. And actually, that means we're going to actually change to force march. Moving plus 2 units per round until they reach their destination. So we're going to actually have to make each squad can move a series of units based on the lowest dex of the unit plus +1. To a minimum of 1. Actually, each squad can make it based on based on the type of troopers composing the squad. Composing a majority of the squad. No. Based on, actually, no, based on the type, based on the character with the lowest dex +1. So if you have a bunch of people with like massive dex, you're going to be able to get it. The bonus is that most cavalry are going to be able to move extra units by virtue of being mounted. That's going to be the compromise there. I think that works. Yeah, that works. Totally, yeah, that works. Definitely. Looks like I have another viewer. Hello, viewer. My name is Notepad, and on the Night Write Games for Fun. As you can probably tell, I'm 3 hours into a stream, and I am writing a game, and I'm dying on the inside, but don't worry, everything's fine. Terrain types, example features. To a minimum of 1. To a minimum of 1. Let's see, the battlefield. That's my back. That's my back going crickety crack. Has or does. I don't know why. Fronting. Watchtower set up in isolated. Receives defensive action. Receive cavalry and raid types. And we'll do type 3. multiple. No feature can. Multiple features cannot take up the same unit. Battlefield sizes. Battlefield, actually, side note. Battlefield sizes and dimensions. Personally speaking, I enjoy hex-based combat due to the ability to more freely maneuver around enemies and but I understand square-based combat is quite popular, so I cannot. Oh God, that's right, my shoulder. So I cannot judge. It's quite popular, so I am deliberately not making a judgment call on how the dimensions of each unit should be. Simply the rough size. A unit is around. Let's see, so how do I want to do this? What size would the unit be? So we need to. Would it be a mile? Would it be a mile? About a mile by mile? Oh, didn't mean to click that. About a mile by mile. Make it. That's pretty good hustle. Yeah, a mile by mile. Mile to kilometer. Oh, didn't mean to click that button. Why do I keep clicking? Unit is around 1 mile by 1 by 1 by 1 miles. Easy enough to hustle through. Hard and not hustle through, but difficult to fully maneuver around. With a quickness. Roughly it's 0.5 miles. God, why do I want to do this? I want to be good. Large-scale warship. Map size of Mountain Blade Baldi. Some battle. Battle map size, mounts, and blade. Oh, no, I know what I'm looking for. How big is a battlefield? How big is... No, that's not it. Battle map size, prophecy pendopacy. Know what I'm looking for. Battle map size, mounts, and blade warband. What is the size, though? Give me the size. That's all I want, is the size. I can see it. I have a wrong YouTube video, everyone. No, don't care. Yeah, see. Is it seriously? Oh, okay, cool. It's cool. It's fine. Everything's fine. So you're taking place over the kit. Let's give a rough thing. Let's say that on average, to get everyone into place, take about half hour, And each unit is about, not quarter a mile. That's not right. We're looking at warband size. We're looking at a couple, about 30 people on each side fighting each other, so it doesn't have to be massive. So, 5 by 5 meters. Let's see. 5 by 5 square. That'd be a good example of 5 square meters. That would be a good mass battle size. What am I looking for? I know what I'm looking for. See, this is the most frustrating part about this, is that I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want. What I want is effectively how big this thing is going to be. So a unit is around, let's say, actually, okay, let's go to Google Maps, shall we? Okay, you know what? We're gonna go to Google Maps, but in the meantime, what I'm gonna do is, just so no one knows where the hell I am. Alright, so I'm actually going to put this right here. So no one knows, so no one can truly know where I am. So, roughly speaking, so, come on, mouse, please. I want to measure distance from here to here. This is 1 mile. This is someplace in wonderful France or Germany. You know, France too. This time it's personal. So let's see, that's a mile. Actually, this is a mile. 1 mile exactly. So if we assume the battlefield's roughly 1 by 1 mile. Okay. Let's assume the average battlefield's 1 by 1 mile. So if we were to let's say it's a square mile, and we were to divide that. That's not correct. That is an acre. Actually, if we do say a half mile, about 1 by 1 acres. 1 by 1 acres. Easy enough to huffle through, actually. Let's see. Oh, no, that's not about right. By 1 furlong. 660 feet. And blade. Battle map. Nope. Let's see. It's not helpful. How big is the map? That's what I want to know. How big is the Bannerlord map? Alright, yeah, let's just do that. How big is the Bannerlord map? Battle size. It's larger, maybe refine how these sizes are accurate. Maximum map size would be roughly equal to Novgorod. And that could easily 500 troops. 22 towns. Just give me what I want. Merg. What am I looking for? I'm looking for map sizes. How big do I want these damn maps to be? God damn it. Let's see, so your average... Actually, let's do... How big are you? Give me what you want. What do I want? What do I want? How big are you? So... Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's assume that's 12. Let's say it's 12 by 12. 12 by 12 units. So 5 feet intervals. So if we use our handy dandy handy dandy calculator here. Oh God, computer, please. Computer, 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 darling, 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 please. I ask so little of you. We want to do that, and we want to do about 12 times 5 equals about 60 by 60 feet on either side, so that's, let's just bump it up by 3. It's about 180 feet squared. So, 180 feet squared. That's, no, that doesn't seem right. Actually, I want to fit 5 to 10 dudes in a single location. How big would I need it? In a single space, I would need it 5 by 5 meters, roughly. 5 by 5 square meters. So we can assume that the unit is around 5 by 5 square. 5 square. Actually, anyway, this be 5 square meters. So about, actually, square meters. What would be something 5 square meters? Yeah. 5 square meters using a tussle tube, difficult to fully maneuver around with quickness, roughly. You know, fuck it. A unit is around. Actually, can you walk in acre? Welcome to game design, everyone, where I find out how big a fucking acre is. So, how long does it take to walk a mile? Just give me a. How fast can you walk a mile? About 3 miles an hour. So about 20 minutes to walk a mile. So let's just say, fuck it. The unit is about 1 square mile. Easy enough for soldiers to cover in a short amount. Actually, about one acre. About 1 acre. Easy enough to cover in a short amount of time, but large enough for soldiers to die on. Roughly speaking, a small map should be around 15 by 15 acres. 15 by 15 acres. Larger ones can be upwards of 20 by 20, all the way to around 30 by 30. However, the larger the acre's not a perfect denomination, but it's easier to kind of wrap your head around. However, the larger the area, the larger the amount of ground that must be covered. 2 units, 2 squad. Squads can easily, upwards of 10 squads can comfortably fit inside a single acre. But if there's that many squads available, most likely it's already a bloodbath. This is a pain in the ass. This is like way more of a pain in the ass than you actually would think of, because you're not... In most situations, you can roughly assume everyone's about 5 feet. Again, 5 feet is kind of a solid way. You can move in 6 seconds, but we have to assume like, oh hey, how fast can you move in like a half hour? Like the scale gets upwards, and you have to say this is large combat, but it's not like super large combat where it's just like taking place over miles. No, this is it takes about 30 minutes to fully cross an acre of land if just meandering. If under cross a few acres of the land if on a hustle. Yeah, that works. Not perfect, but it works. Battlefield size and dimensions. Alright. So, I have been streaming for almost 4 hours at this point, and this is insane, and I want to go to bed, and I'm very tired. So thank you all for watching up to this point, and watching me slowly break my mind trying to find the correct size of things. But... Thank you all. I will be streaming probably later today because it's already the next day. So have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone, and I hope you all have a good time. Yes, words, definitely. Goodbye.